Hello, everybody, and welcome to The Beacons Are Lit, a Lord of the Rings podcast. This one is going to cover The Return of the King, The Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King, the first 30 minutes or so, part one of our year-long series covering this movie. We're back. We are back. I'm the host, Mike Marbach. Today, I'm joined by Matt Guerin.
Hello.
Stacey Lyons.
Hello.
And Kelly Conrad.
Hey there, folks.
Yep, she's been waiting to get that out. I need a new greeting, and there it is.
I'm keeping it.
Yeah, we're back. We were just talking about this before the pod, like wondering how long it's been, and it's been like 8 months. 8 months. It feels like a year ago, and it feels like a couple weeks ago at the same time.
We skipped almost two seasons.
Yeah.
It was fall, and now it's almost summer.
Yeah. And we have a few bits of business to go over. The first is that we would have had another episode out in that time, but somebody who shall remain nameless,
Mike.
Well, it's out there now.
Can't
somebody
unring that bell.
Who is me accidentally deleted our awards episode for The Two Towers.
By awards, you mean award-winning. It won several Oscars.
It was probably our best episode we've ever done.
Yeah.
We definitely didn't have to check the scores during the middle of it to find out what we were voting on.
Yeah. I mean, if we're being honest, it probably wasn't an accident.
The truth comes out. The truth comes out.
It was an accident, but I also will say it was also a mess. It was a mess of it was a fun mess, but it was a mess of a podcast.
I don't remember anything about it. I have no recollection of doing that episode at all.
That's great.
It was 8 months ago.
That's great. We will get around to redoing that episode. In fact, tonight was supposed to be the redo, but not only did I delete the episode, I deleted all traces of it.
It like definitely seems like you're hiding evidence, or you were trying to like destroy evidence of the crime that was deleting that episode.
Yeah, methinks you doth protest too much, because you could have just said, whoops, I deleted it, but now I don't believe you anymore.
Yeah. Well, I apologize nonetheless for the 8-month absence of this podcast, because people have written to us via email as well as through the ratings and reviews over the course of these 8 months, and we are going to get to those right now.
Yay!
Yes, in our absence, we've had 3 reviews come in. Our last episode aired or was posted somewhere around the 20th ish of October, and we had one a couple days later, and another one soon after, and then another one just a couple months ago. And those are from I Am Just Trying to Rate an App, 5-star review, which these all are, by the way. Funny and charming Lord of the Rings companion podcast. Great podcast, full of love for the show and cast, but doesn't take itself too seriously. These guys do a great job of providing insight to the show without expecting every fan to be a Tolkien scholar. It's light and humorous, but still has plenty of heartfelt admiration and nostalgia for the trilogy of films that I love so much. I'm excited to have a companion podcast for when I start The Rings of Power. Yikes.
Bad news, my friend. Bad news.
Yes. Yeah. Overall, great review. Thank you so much. I am just trying to rate an app. And I guess we'll apologize because, I mean, although I think that we did a good job of covering the Rings of Power, I don't know that it was the most forgiving of coverage. I think it was fair. I think it was overall fair, but I don't think it was as forgiving.
Yeah, but anything to apologize for. I don't think
I don't think we need to. I think it's okay that we sometimes weren't so forgiving.
Okay. I also will make a note that when I say apologize, I'm not speaking for everyone. All right. I Mike is the views expressed by Mike Marbach do not necessarily reflect those of the entire cast and crew. Yeah,
I feel good about what we did.
Yeah, so do I. I'm just saying, if you are coming in as a hardcore defender of that show and fan, you may get a little turned off, especially coming from the other episodes covering the films. Although we also kind of dig into a lot of stuff there. So yeah, I think we're fair. Apology retracted. And my apology.
Very nice review. Thank you.
Yes.
I was just trying to read an app.
Sound like a bot.
Yeah.
Not a bot for a name.
And we have review from Aaron ATX. Beacons Are Lit review. Great podcast, gets better with each episode. Funny and on point. I like that they admit they're not the biggest Tolkien experts and ask for listener input. There are a lot of Lord of the Rings podcasts out there. Lots of them are kind of boring, so it's good to find one that's funny and run by true fans. Keep the episodes coming.
Aw, that's so nice.
Yeah. The through thread I'm hearing here is
we don't know.
People don't know shit.
We're dumb. It's fun. It's light. It's fluff. You can just kind of tune out to it. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. And finally, we have it's from Twigboldy, a Lurtz-centric view of Lord of the Rings. This podcast is great for casual and diehard fans of Lord of the Rings alike. By their own admission, the hosts are not Tolkien scholars.
3 for 3.
If you're looking to hear a discussion on the differences between the Noldor and the Sindar elves, you won't find it here. However, if you prefer a podcast that doesn't take itself too seriously, one that spends an absurd amount of time on tertiary characters like Lurtz, one that isn't afraid to point out how awkward Vigo says, "It has no other master," at the Council of Elrond, if that's what you're looking for, this is the podcast for you. Also, I personally did not finish the final 2 episodes of The Rings of Power. After hearing these podcasts, I don't think I missed much.
I have not stopped thinking about this review since you showed it to us, because that means that someone did not finish Rings of Power, but listened to our episodes about it anyway. And I think that that's remarkable.
Yeah, that's
I also think a alert-centric lens should be the tagline for this podcast.
Yeah,
100%.
So thank you for that.
I've not stopped thinking about this one because it feels like we found the one person who this podcast is. It feels like there's a podcast for everybody, and we found our person. And and thank you so much.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
To everyone who reviewed, we appreciate it.
I'm disappointed we don't have more Lurtz coming up in this movie. However, we're not going to promise you no Lurtz.
Lurtz finds a way.
Lurtz daddy will be here.
Goes.
Yeah.
Lurtz daddy.
As Jeff Goldblum once said, Lurtz finds a way. All right. So
Lurtz actually is all around. Sorry, that's a Lurtz Love Actually.
Lurtz is beautiful. Yes. So let's get to the Return of the King. We are covering the first 30 minutes ish. And first of all, for us, it's been 8 months. But as try to think back to the just now when you've rewatched it, but also back to when you're seeing the 2 towers and you've been waiting that year to go into the theater to see Return of the King. How do you think this first 30 minutes reintroduces you to that world?
Well, I feel like there's a lot of extended cut stuff in this first 30 minutes.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
A lot of buffer stuff. Now, theatrical cut, Kelly, I remember that we had this segment. If you watch the theatrical cut, you have to freshen up on what happens in the 30 minutes of the theatrical.
Matt, let me tell you this. As I was rewatching these first 30 minutes of Return of the King, I was like, crap, my theatrical brain doesn't recall Return of the King as much. So some stuff is really, really obvious, and I can more tell like what scenes have been extended or what have you, but I was having a hard time like, crap, is this in the theatrical version or is this extended? So I'm not as reliable as I once was. That 8 months really really hurt me.
Yeah. I do remember the like Gollum Smeagol sequence, right? So like the kind of like prologue of this movie. I remember being like, oh, that's so cool. And it was like he was like so gross. I just remember being disgusted by how gross his like transformation is, and how disconcerting it was. And yeah, that was the main thing that I remembered from like this beginning part, at least, of seeing it in the theater.
I feel like by this point, the movies had me eating out of the palm of their hand. So I think no matter what they did, I've been like, oh my God, that's like so perfect. But yeah, I thought this opening was really cool to get like some Smeagol in there.
Mm-hmm.
Like Matt said, to see the transformation. And I think it connects so well to what happens with the ring, like that kind of like full circle moment. It makes so much sense to like open up with that. And it was nice to get a little bit of like greenery, like a little bit of like kind of like Shire Hobbiton vibes. So I mean, there was a murder, but the scenery was wonderful.
I mean, technically too, now we've started all 3 movies with a flashback, if you really think about it.
So true.
I remember being gripped from moment 1. This was the first one I saw in theaters. I don't know about you guys, but this was my first one. I had gotten so into it. I was like so self-obsessed. We did like the midnight showing. But it was like the midnight showing, but it started at like 9 p.m. or something, so it ended at midnight. It was something like that. And I don't even remember when this came out, 14, 15. And I was at the Showcase Cinemas in Randolph, Massachusetts. And if you're this man, please reach out to me. I sat down in my seat and I was talking to my dad and 2 of my siblings. And I said, I don't care how long this movie is. I will get a bladder infection. I am not getting up to go to the bathroom. And this guy right next to me looked at me and went, that's hardcore. And I've never forgotten that for a minute of my life. And again, if you are that man from Randolph, Massachusetts, please like, review, and subscribe.
He already has. He wrote the Alert Center.
It was you.
If you remember,
man, Peter Jackson.
If you remember, I also did not get up during the Two Towers or Return of the King, even after getting hot coffee spilled on me. Had each one.
Wasn't it twice?
What? Yeah, each one. Two Towers and Return of the King. Yeah. So one thing I love about this, because I think that yes, the other movies started. It makes sense to start the Fellowship with a flashback, and to show the open with the Gandalf stuff in Two Towers. I think those kind of make sense. This seemed a little bit like a little different. This felt like the 9th episode of a 10-episode series where they do like a flashback sort of thing, and they're like, oh, okay, now we're getting some background information. I thought it was really, really well done. I love that he looked kind of similar but had the exact same voice.
I know, it was so you expected his voice to also change. It did not. His voice has been like that. They had the Shire or wherever he was from had no problems calling him a murderer. They were like, just go. We know you. The costuming is just brilliant. I was just watching like the slow fade to Gollum, like now, and then you're kind of like, wow, I didn't see it before. I didn't see how similar he was to a Hobbit before, and now I can totally tell. It's just, I thought that was so cool.
Yeah, and it's his birthday, and he wants it. Yeah. And Deagle wasn't having it.
I'm like, is May?
It's Gollum's birthday.
That's what got us back on mic. We had to get on back on mic for Smeagol's birthday.
May 11sies, yes. So yeah, Smeagol, he's got the same voice. Deagle grabs it. And one thing I also liked is that the way that they filmed this is like the ring calls to Deagle, like it wanted to be found, because he gets out and then he's just like, whoa, what's this? What do I got here? And of course, we know how that turned out. The transition from Smeagol to Gollum was so well done and gross. Like some of the grossest stuff they shown
Super
in
gross.
this, throughout it
Most
was
of him
in
eating
this.
that
Yeah.
fish raw.
Ugh.
Oh, and I'm just sitting there and I'm like, they don't have toothbrushes that we know of. They don't have dentists. So
Yeah.
how did his teeth, even that few, last this long?
Yeah. Doesn't need the floss. You could just kind of reach in there,
Oh,
pull things out.
yeah. Use
I
the
always
fish bones.
wonder, like, in movies when someone's eating like a raw fish, like what the raw fish is made out of. Don't ask me what other movies have this because I can't think off the top of my head.
I know in
We're always wondering about it.
Yeah.
in Game of Thrones when she eats the horse heart, like apparently it was kind of like a big gummy bear. It was like gelatin. I feel like a lot of gelatin is used.
Maybe Circus pulled a DiCaprio and just ate that shit raw.
Method.
And then he had Giardia for the rest of filming.
Yeah, he was very sick. He was very, very ill.
Looks
Shout
good.
out to we love our boy Howard Shore on this podcast. The scoring in the sequence of them Smeagol and Deagle, which I can't say without kind of chuckling to myself, fighting each other. It's so different than like other sequences in the movie. It's so like atonal or whatever and disconcerting, and there's like the heartbeat drone that like stops when Deagle gets killed. Great. I think it's maybe one of my favorite musical parts in this series. It's
Whoa.
Yeah.
in terms of
It's
like
great.
its creativity, like it's so interesting and like crazy and holds together somehow while being like pretty wild, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
It doesn't get sinister so quickly.
I skipped over one thing that I think is one of my favorite moments, and it happens 3 times throughout the series. Star Wars Crawl, where that comes up, and you like people who are big Star Wars fans kind of get a little like, oh shit, here it is. But in this, you have the slow fade in of the Lord of the Rings with the ring violin, kind of like chills every time. Like that's all they needed to do was immediately pull me right. They pulled me right back into it. Yeah, so good. Anything more to
So
say
haunting.
on that opening?
Yeah.
Not in the opening. I do want to point out before we get too deep into the movie, I just want to make sure we all are on the same page that this is still to this day, one of the most winningest Academy Award movie of all time.
11,
it's
right?
the only movie that's won out of every category it was nominated for.
Yeah.
Yes, tied at 11.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just a remarkable movie. If you're into awards, it's a cool bit of trivia. And you can look up all 11 things it won for.
Yeah.
I don't know off the top of my head, but we could probably figure it out.
Yeah.
Prologue's a
of
cool
elimination.
bit of, like, it's a cool bit of like Jackson kind of going back to like horror movie. His like kind of like it feels very like silent filmy Universal horror movie kind of like old transformation and the cinematography of it. So it's cool to see Jackson working that in there, doing his
very werewolfy transformation sort of stuff there. Yeah, I see that. That's good. All right. Then we go to my precious. He says that, and then we go to the precious and present day. Frodo and Sam waking up, and Gollum's just like, "Hey, we gotta get going. Come on, up and at 'em." And they have their conversation about the food running low and crossing over the wasteland. Anything in those moments?
Just Sam counting the lembas bread for the return home. And
for what?
Frodo gives him when he's like, does he not know? Is he just being hopeful? It's just, that was heartbreaking.
Yeah, and but how Sam was just like, for what? What? Like, what are you talking about?
What are you counting?
Yeah. The other side of that, like both of them were so good.
Yeah, Elijah's so good in that because Elijah Wood just shows like in his reaction to that of like, that's so sweet that you think that. I don't know if I believe that we're going to make it home anymore. Like he's like way more like losing hope than he had like last time we saw him maybe, or I don't know. I can't remember so long ago, but I feel like it was a little bit more hopeful. Frodo was a little bit more hopeful back in some point Two Towers, but now he's kind of like, probably not. But he says it all with his beautiful, huge blue eyes, you know.
I took from him that he's not that he hadn't even like thought about the return home. That he just kind of thought like it would end, just like, and it would end.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's just
Yeah, I feel like Sam's I know, we call him Samwise the Brave and all these things, but like already I'm like, oh, of course he was so brave in these specific moments, but I think more than that, he was this like little smidgen of hope that was absolutely essential for them to like survive. And so it's again just being that like solid heartbeat of the movie and just already breaking our hearts within like a few minutes of Return of the King. Oh, I'm not gonna get through this podcast without like just crying over Sean Astin's performance. I feel like he should have been. Was he nominated? I feel like maybe I've asked that before, but was he nominated for like supporting actor?
If he was, he won. So there was nothing that was nominated that did not win. Let's look it up. Yeah, I totally agree, and I think it also like kind of reminds you of the Shire. Like Frodo was also once joyful, and like he's kind of lost touch with all of that, and Sam still has it.
Yeah,
it is crazy and interesting. I don't know if Smeagol's like technically a hobbit or not back then, like in the book lore or not. I feel like he was maybe like somewhere between like a harlot. What was in the show?
Harlot. Yeah.
Oh yeah, he was a harlot.
he was like a
he was a dirty harlot before he was a hobbit. Yeah.
He was like a hobbit-like species, but I don't think he was like technically a hobbit.
Yeah,
it's like a Care Bear cousin.
I don't know. Yeah, it's a Care Bear cousin. I was just thinking like how quickly Smeagol and Deagle were like instantly corrupted by the ring versus like Frodo and Frodo taken 3 movies and months worth of time to kind of be falling into its trap is interesting. And I don't know if that speaks to the different species of them or it speaks to the strength of Frodo's heart, because then we'll see later Pippin in the Palantir, he's all about that, kind of like how Deagle and Smeagol were all about the ring very quickly. So maybe just Frodo's just like truly is just the right person for the job here.
Yeah.
Well, and Bilbo had it in his care for a while, and he was fine.
He
generally,
he did okay. Yeah.
So maybe it's just in the Baggins blood.
Yeah,
the Baggins are strong.
It's that Frodo and Fellowship.
Right. Hey, we're not perfect, okay?
Yeah.
We're not.
Everyone makes mistakes.
Everybody relapses every now and then. It's fine.
The answer is no. By the way, no actors were nominated for anything.
That's crazy. It could also be the fact that the ring is a magnifying glass a little bit too. So they could also, both of them could have been not particularly great harlots. And then it just kind of made them instantly worse. Or it could also be age, like we don't know how old they are and how well their brains are developed at the age, or IQ or any of those number of things. But yeah, the heart probably definitely plays a big role, I would say.
The only other thing I wanted to comment on this was coming in from the prologue, and we're like kind of grossed out maybe or afraid of Smeagol turned to Gollum. And then Gollum just like pops up upside down. And it's just like, wake up, sleepies. And it's just, it's fun. It's fun. We're here.
And during that prologue too, where he says he talks about his transition. He's like, over the years, I'm paraphrasing, but forgot the taste of bread, the sound of the trees. I even forgot our own name, something along those lines. And the bread, of course, comes back down the line. So contrasted with the Fellowship. So we have them doing their thing. We have the Fellowship, Gandalf and company arriving at
University of Orthanc.
At Isengard. University of Orthanc. Yeah. Now it is in ruins.
Yeah. But Merry and Pippin, they are ripping
raging.
They're living it up.
They are chowing down.
Senioritis. They are graduated. They're done.
Yeah. They're having a time.
Yeah. And Saruman is just like barricaded himself
On the roof?
Yeah, on the roof. Yeah. Something all sane people do.
He is trying to take biggest drama queen away from Gandalf
Mm-hmm.
by doing this. I don't
Yeah.
think he's going to get it this time, guys, but I don't know.
Yeah. And then we get the.
We're going to see. We're going to see Matt. We're going to see Matt. Because another contender for biggest drama queen could be the patriarch of the Boromir Faramir family.
Yeah, for sure.
We
Even
have some
before we get to Orthanc, before we even arrive, we get the title card, Return of the King, and the music swells a bit. All right. Yeah, Merry and Pippin smoking up and drinking. Welcome, my lords, to Isengard. And they're feasting and smoking, and Gandalf is disgusted by everything that's happening.
Come on.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
He reacts like that to them and not Gimli, who is legit disgusting. Gimli's a pig.
I love in movies when people like smoke and eat, or in shows. I just think it's like a funny character choice. Yeah, dude. And the salted pork looks so good, and the way that like Pippin is holding it in, it's all like limp and meaty in his hand. I'm like, Matt, don't make that face. It looks delicious.
The meat was limpy.
In his hand. Sound appetizing.
And like, weren't they? I just like, weren't they at the end of Two Towers like pulling this out of the dirty water? I was just like, don't eat it. Just don't eat it.
Like a whole turkey floating with the little like white paper things on the lid.
It just reminds me of like the Skookle. I'm like, please don't eat anything that's touched that water. But they make it look appetizing regardless.
Like you washed so many, like not just dirt, but like bodies of orcs and Uruk-hai.
And like the mining, what they were mining below
and also
the ground.
what they're born in, their what is it?
Sacks?
The fluid, their little fluid sacks.
Oh yeah, the amniotic
fluids.
Sac.
Yeah,
it was like a 5-second. Well, I guess some of that stuff was maybe floating in that water for a minute, but
they gotta had a bunch of hatchlings down there, probably.
You gotta think though, they've been so hungry for
some dead ends.
Probably starving.
And they were also probably like, look, the world could end. We are clearly here for a short time. It may as well be a good time.
I also just love that Isengard had a pantry. Like just like fully stocked too.
I mean, wizards gotta eat.
How you gonna feed all those university students?
Yeah.
You really think that he's giving these orcs and Uruk-hai salted pork and letting them smoke up some long bottom leaf?
His own private stash. Grima could never access it.
But there was so much. Expiration dates, Saruman, come on. None of that's it's not all gonna last.
Cookie was turked. That cookie was turked. That turkey was cooked. That's what I meant to say.
that cookie was turked.
That cookie was turked.
You said that, and I was like,
new slang.
Cookies.
I was like, is he speaking Uruk?
It's on Duolingo now.
That's Lurt's lingo.
Every night Saruman sets like a big table to feast in hopes that like Sauron is gonna come over his little pal.
And that was kind of his tone. He's like, can't we all just get along? like, hey, that's all behind us. What do you say we,
you back up a little. I'll tell you
peace.
what I know.
Yeah. And then out of nowhere, Wormtongue pops up.
Comes out of nowhere. So is that Palantir, by the way. I think that popped up.
The Palantir thing came out of his sleeve. Like he was doing
and once he fell.
Yeah, a little wand falls out.
He's quick.
Like reaching behind Grima's ear.
I don't like Gandalf the White nearly as much as Gandalf the Grey. He is not as much fun. He is so judgmental about them smoking.
So business.
Like, dude, chillax, bro.
I think what it was is this could have been like a very emotional reunion scene, but they were like, we need to tone it down a little. It's been like 3.5 minutes to start this movie and everything's heavy. Let's just get a couple hobbits high so people can't really be like, it's us. Do you remember us?
Are you
just so much more levity? Boy
Meets World fans?
Yeah.
Gandalf the Grey is Mr. Turner and Gandalf the White is Mr. Feeney to me. Yeah. Both great. Both great, but very different personalities, and one's going to let you get away with some stuff. The other one's not so much.
Yeah.
One's gonna join a cult.
Yeah.
One's not.
Not so much. All right. So Saruman's pleading his case, and of course we get a Bernard Hill monologue in here.
Not
Talking
in the theatrical version.
This
for
is like
sure.
honestly
Yeah.
like battle of the monologues here.
Yeah,
Mm.
it is.
He doesn't, but he talks a lot, and he doesn't have whatever kind of megaphone superpower that Gandalf and Saruman are using. So I like to think
they're down like,
Sauron didn't
what?
hear him.
Oh,
like what? I don't, shut up.
or Grima's like, I don't have a staff. Can you a little louder? Grima, you were a man.
Saruman's
I was
like,
what
is
once?
someone talking?
Yeah.
Were you gonna? I was gonna. Were you gonna?
You go. No, you go.
What? Who cares about Rohan?
Saruman says to Gandalf something along the lines of like, and what brings you here? You want the keys to Orthanc? You want the keys to Isengard? You want the keys to Barad-dûr itself? Perhaps you want the crowns of the 5 kings or the 7 kings or the rods of the 7 wizards. I just wanted him to start listing off all this shit, like the inventory of Isengard and all the shit that he has there. Like, are you here for this? Are you here for that? And he's like, oh, I get it. You just want to know shit. You want information. And he does. He wants to know. He's deep within the enemy's confidence, and wants to know what's next. What's next on the agenda for the Great Eye? And he brings out the Palantir at that point. And then shit talks Aragorn.
He's like,
Like,
me and
he's just
Sauron have been
throwing all
talking
these-
about you
Yeah.
guys. Me and Sauron talk every night, and he thinks you're stupid.
He throws a fireball in this, which is not in a theatrical cut, if I remember correctly, but he throws more bombs on Rohan, on Theoden, on Aragorn, on Gandalf, on the halflings. Like, he's just like shit talking everybody.
Well,
And
he's
then at the
no
end-
shit.
and then at the end, he has
doesn't know how to apologize.
No, absolute balls on this man to just insult everything about everyone and then be like, so I will give you the info if you just back up a little bit. Just like back up, and it's like,
Come down. Come down. I thought it was interesting that
the audacity.
Theoden was like, hey, Saruman, you piece of shit. Yeah, we'll pardon you when this that happens, when this happens, and this happens, and this happens, and this happens, and this happens. But to Grima, who I would argue did even worse things than Saruman when it comes to Rohan and his family, and he was just like, Grima, come on, come down. Let's
Grima,
yeah.
my boy.
Yeah,
You so good.
my boy.
Come back to me, my boy.
My son.
I loved you once, like a son. Come to me.
But it is like, where is this sudden empathy for Grima coming from? Because last he had you under like a toxic spell that had him looking all busted.
And he
He
was
literally he was the one who told
whatever. Like,
he was the one who told them about the weakness at Helm's Deep, where they were like keeping the women and children. Like, he's not
So it's
like,
why do you feel this way suddenly, Theoden? Like,
he never said sorry. You don't know that he's sorry.
Mm-hmm.
and he's clearly like not a good person. He's a total like traitor and
And
sides with
Grima
the enemy.
probably was the one, like, we don't see this, but Grima was probably the one who made it possible for Saruman to take over Theoden and poison his mind.
Right.
Like, it could have just been like mental power and wizard power, but I like to think that he like had to sneakily get a piece of his hair or something and take it back.
And then Grinch sneak away with it.
Yeah.
He made a
Take it
doll
back
that
to
looks like
Saruman.
Theoden, put his hair in it. Here
that was
is
just
my
for him.
lord.
The hair doll was just for him.
And that's all it was hair. It was just it was completely hair.
With some
Theoden.
googly
It was,
eyes
it was
like
a
on it.
thing doll.
Yeah, it was the thing. Yeah, so I would argue that he was worse. So yeah, where is that coming from? Just say, come on, come down. Let's hash this out. right here, but you, son of a bitch. And then he starts shit talking Theoden and shit talking Rohan, man of Rohan, and
More
just
like
says,
man of Bohan.
yeah, ruler of a lesser name or something along those lines. Is just, and then Rima's like, hey, you can't talk about him like that, and he like gets backhanded. He's like, quiet, you.
He says, Saruman says Rohan, where the brats roll around on the floor with dogs.
Oh,
Okay, sounds like they're having fun.
Yeah, it sounds like playing with a dog.
Yeah, good family
Where
time.
the men drink. Yeah.
Where you
it sounds
sleep
they
in
great.
beds
fornicate
made of
regularly
cotton.
and get high and ride horses around in beautiful fields. Oh.
Me and
Ooh.
Sauron would never.
Rohan, where they have a living wage and healthcare for all. Ooh.
I was so with Gimli when he was like, enough of this asshole, Legolas, shoot this bitch. Like, I was like, yeah, please, I'm done with this guy.
Legolas too was like, yeah.
Yeah,
I'll
he's like,
listen to
"Sure?"
you.
Mhm. Yeah. And that's when he's like, pulls that knife out. Everybody's pulling shit out of sleeves up on that roof. And pulls
deep
that
sleeves.
out. Yeah, they are. Cloaks even. And just as they're about to give some information, he's like, you'll want to know this one piece of information is that Sauron moves to bleh. Yeah.
Stabbed in the
I
back.
also felt like that
That's weird.
like moment felt very forced also, where like Wormtongue was so loyal to Saruman for so long, and then suddenly a little slap gets them all in a tizzy
Yeah,
and kills them.
I think he was foreshadowed in the Two Towers when he goes out and sees the army with which Saruman and Sauron were going to destroy. You saw the look on his face, and I think if I remember correctly, there was a tear.
Yeah.
He is a bit
boy
wet
was
in
wet.
this scene.
Yeah,
This
the
was
boy
he
was
was a
very
bit
wet.
wet in this scene. He was a bit windy in the scene, so
Mhm.
not quite as wet,
Yeah,
but
he was a
still
little
there
dried
was
up.
there was
little
still
dry.
some moisture.
The drier Wormtongue gets actually does correlate to how kind he gets. So
Right.
the drier he becomes, the nicer human he is and more redemptive he is.
Yeah,
Like a dog's nose.
yeah. And in those moments,
Dogs.
he does what needs to be done. He could have waited a couple seconds to get some information from Saruman, but he doesn't. And he does what should have been done, what Gandalf was not willing to do, and that is to take out Saruman. And then Saruman tumbles. I love the Saruman cam. The Saruman death cam was great. And then the visual of him getting impaled.
Dude, brutal.
Right.
Yeah.
I was glad they showed the hobbits' reactions to that because that would have been the most horrifying thing I had like ever seen in person. And I'm sure like they had just been through war and stuff, but that was like absolutely a PTSD situation that they're witnessing, and it showed.
Yeah.
Like it definitely showed on their faces. They were like, "What in the world?"
And then to have the wheel turn and kind of drown him in the filth of Saruman is washing away. Treebeard
Yeah.
now managing Isengard. Oh, and I also like when he talks about trees will come back here, young trees, wild trees. And then you see Pip grab the Palantir, and then Gandalf quickly grabs it, swaddles it in clothes. He has a lot of. Is it in his robe, or did he just have excess robes with him?
Got like a scarf.
Yeah,
For the cold.
one of those
I
long
think it's
scarves.
just
It
his
might be his cloak.
excess-
Might be his like cloak that he has when he's riding.
He was
Yeah, and
chilling.
just his robes are long and
Yeah.
baggy. Like there's so much fabric to work with there.
Yeah,
This
don't want
is yet
skin contact on that thing.
We've brought this up before. It's yet another situation in which one line of dialogue probably would have prevented anything else from happening. Like, hey, Pip, this is super, super dangerous. You probably shouldn't ever touch it. And if you have more questions, just let me know.
Yeah, just let me know. I will talk at length about this
I
shit.
will tell you everything I know about this. Don't sneak in. Don't try to take it from me.
Yeah.
It's really bad.
Yeah, it's like, why was Gandalf being so elusive and cryptic? It's like you could have just
But he
flat
does.
out been like, bro, not for you.
No
Yeah.
bueno. Pip,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
And we know later that when he's touching it, Saruman's like, gotcha. But he picks it up this time. Why do you think it was Sauron not paying attention? Or do you think that the water created like some sort of surface tension around this? thing.
I genuinely think it's a matter of like holding and like
Intention.
peering into it. Like this is
Okay,
not like
using
just
some
looking at it, but
energy
like
and
really
focus.
focusing on it. Yeah.
Gotcha,
Because I think
okay.
Saruman takes it out and is like holding it up. He's like, look what I got. But I don't think he's seeing into it at that moment.
Yeah, that's fair.
I have a question.
Yes,
Matt.
Matt.
Thank you. Do you think, did Legolas mean to shoot Wormtongue, or was he aiming for Saruman?
Yeah.
You think you think he missed?
Wait, Matt.
It's
Matt,
so
let's
high.
get this
It's
right.
Oh
so
my!
high
I
up.
don't even have time to tell you how wrong you are about
Oh,
Legolas's
okay, like
accuracy.
Legolas didn't miss the guy with the torch running towards the wall. Like he didn't miss him. Like
He
couldn't
hit
have-
him.
He
He
hit
hit him
The
like
dude
4
was just
times.
Really
Well, he didn't take
strong.
him down, did he? He didn't take him down. Orthonk
but-
is so tall.
It was
It is
raining.
so tall. It is up and it is tall, and he has an arrow.
This is not a
it's
question
windy.
about, but this is a question about aim. And he got that guy in like the traps twice, like both of them.
That guy was like
A lot
on
closer, and that's downward.
meth.
Gravity's on his side, and it was a lot closer. That I don't know. I'm not arguing one over the other. I genuinely was like, did he mean to shoot Saruman? I don't know.
No, because Saruman was gonna
him.
die if he just let
Yeah.
him keep stabbing. He has no reason
Why
to
did
shoot
he want
Saruman.
to shoot Wormtongue? He was
Right,
To
doing-
that's-
stop him from stabbing.
Who cares? It's
Right.
Because he
Saruman.
knew he had
guy.
info. He wanted the
Like last
info.
shooting Wormtongue for. I don't know. I don't think Wormtongue needed to
Why
die.
are you being a
His name
Wormtongue
is-
sympathizer?
Yeah.
bro?
He killed the worst dude in the movies.
With
But Gandalf had said,
He's like-
Legolas,
he's
don't
a
shoot
hero.
him.
I don't know.
We-
Why are we shooting him?
He's just following Gandalf's orders. He knew Gandalf wanted Saruman alive. Legolas is a pretty face with great aim. He's not a critical thinker. He was like, okay, Saruman needs to be alive. I'm going to shoot Wormtongue to keep him alive.
Well,
I-
Aragorn told him to bring him down, and guess what? Legolas did not do to the guy with the torch and 2 towers. He did
He
not.
sure
bring-
as shit tried, Matt.
I will say that I'm with Matt on this point. That I don't think that he, especially in that moment where he does kill or he does stab him, like go for the arm. If you're
Yeah.
looking to disable him, go for the arm, go for a leg.
He went for his side,
Yeah.
right?
Kill shots.
There's no reason critically for Legolas to shoot Saruman as he's being stabbed. It doesn't make any narrative
No, I'm
sense.
not saying arguing for him shooting Saruman.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He meant to shoot Grima. You're saying
Yes.
why? Okay.
Why'd he do it? All right. Moving on. Riding to Edoras. Is that where we're going? Right, we're going to Edoras. Feast in the Great Hall. Gimli is disgusting.
Gimli
Grotesque.
is having some post-war fun.
Gimli
I
In a
has
love
now
gross, in a very gross manner.
he has now become the wettest person in this movie.
Yes.
Oh, that beard is
Yeah.
sloppy.
Yeah. Yeah.
I will say, as critical as I've been of Legolas, I really enjoyed
Boss.
him in the drinking game.
Mm.
I thought Orlando Bloom delivered those lines well. I thought he was having a little bit of fun with it. I
He-
love the line of like, I feel a little tingle in my fingers. I thought it was fun. That was
He
fun.
reacted to the drinking like someone maybe smoking pot for the first time.
Yeah, and it was awesome.
Yeah.
I thought that was so fun.
Mhm.
And I think it's great because I kind of didn't remember how this played out strangely. So it was funny to see that, oh, okay, elves also just are like indestructible when it comes to substance.
Yeah. Got to fast metabolize that alcohol pretty quick. All right.
Matt, you
disagree.
have
Soft
something on
disagree.
your mind.
Soft disagree on Orlando Bloom's performance. I think Gimli's so funny in that scene to me. Like when he's just so broad and like the crossing of the eyes as he's drinking and be like,
Mm.
"Boys go swimming with little hairy women." Like it's like
Bleh, what's
So
up?
that Orlando Bloom to me just feels like, yeah, I don't know. Like
right, so-
when he says "game over," I feel like that should have been funny, and it didn't get me laughing.
So
you know?
I soft disagree with your soft disagree. I'm comparing.
Inception.
I know. I
Get
did it.
a
I did it.
divorce.
I
That's-
went there. I'm comparing Orlando Bloom's performance and delivery to his past lines and delivery. By no means am I comparing him to John Rhys Davies because come on. But I thought the subtlety in which he delivered "Game Over," I think it was less supposed to be funny and more a jovial cheekiness, which I took.
Yeah.
I thought they did a great job playing an elf and a dwarf, and I think dwarves are just
Mm.
more fun.
And
But we
and
all
bigger.
know the real show stealers here are the
Merry and
Green
Pip.
Dragon
Mhm.
duo, Merry and Pippin.
And
Yeah.
there's that weird gaze that Pippin and Gandalf have, that weird eye lock that they have.
Mhm.
That's not in the theatrical
That
cut.
was like a little like it felt like a little like lovers moment, like like meeting eyes
There's
across the
something
bar.
very
There was like something very
so-
charged about that.
There's something very soap opera-y about this whole Pippin, Palantir, Gandalf love triangle that's going on.
Yeah.
It's just like hard glances and looks.
Will
and
they or won't they?
fruit.
Yeah.
And like,
Yeah.
if you're really gonna tell me that Pippin is capable of stopping himself in the middle of performing a drinking song for the crowd, it just doesn't feel like canon to me. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's in the book.
Doesn't feel like it.
I agree.
He's
that
a, he's a
mentioned that-
performer.
We didn't mention that Saruman doesn't die in the book.
Die. No.
Yeah.
And so I think that's a great improvement from the movie. Like, yeah, I want to see that dude get impaled in the
Mhm.
like best way. I was like,
Yeah.
his death is so great in the book, and it feels like almost like they were like, this should have been done in, or his death feels so great in the movie that it feels like they were almost like, this should have been done in the book. We're
Yeah,
gonna kill
also-
I think
so hard.
Christopher Lee had issues with that because he was such like a diehard fan of the books. I think I remember hearing
Yeah.
or watching that he was like not happy with how that scene went down.
Yeah. I would also add, because we did skip over it, that I only briefly mentioned it, was the when he's like, fuck all y'all, and then like, how about a little fire? Scarecrow. And it envelops Gandalf, and then he just, Saruman, your staff is broken. And then so
Gandalf, I
that
think
should have been in the
So
theatrical cut. Like, that is something, like, because we've talked at length over these many episodes, these many sods, that we want to see more Gandalf magic, not just light tricks, not just the light show stuff. And him, like, especially after him getting his ass whooped by Saruman in Fellowship. So seeing them finally on the same level, if not Gandalf even more so. Yeah, put that shit in. I want to see even more of it.
I didn't know that wasn't in the theatrical cut. That's really surprising. That feels necessary.
Mhm.
Yeah, the fireballs. Saruman's fireballs not in theatrical cut.
After the drinking game, we have Gandalf and Aragorn. Little sidebar, little side chat. Any news on Frodo? Nah, nothing.
they're both like, they both have this moment where they're kind of like, you don't think, I don't
No,
think. Do you think?
I don't.
You don't. I think we would know. We would know if he was dead. Yeah.
And I love how it concludes with like, yeah, I feel like they're still alive.
Yeah,
Yeah,
me too.
yeah, me
All
too.
right, cool.
Totally,
Solved
totally.
this mystery.
So,
What
no, I can
does-
feel it. I can feel it.
What does your heart tell you? Yeah.
And
They're
Gandalf,
alive.
my heart tells me that I'm in love with Pippin. I don't know. That look.
I do like that line. I do like that. What does your heart tell you? I feel like that was maybe in the Return of the King trailer, and I am a trailer lover, so that line sticks out to me.
New segment.
What's
New
that?
segment. Trailer Queen Kelly.
Trailer lover, guilty. I do love a good trailer. Such a sucker. But yeah, I like that moment.
It is totally like a lovely way to let us know they're still going to go forth with the plan because they really believe Frodo's alive. Like, they don't need to confirm it. They're just going to, and it's like, okay, we're all on the same page. The movie can proceed.
And we see a little glimpse of like Gandalf the Grey, like smile, like comes to him, like almost like he's, I don't know. It's just a
and
nice.
then he slaps himself to be like, "You don't smile. You're Gandalf the White."
Yeah. Frodo and Sam. Smeagol, Gollum arguing, having a little conversation.
This movie, every time Frodo and Sam and Gollum come on the screen, it like my heart just sinks a little bit more. And it's like that. It was like that watching the movie for the first time. There's something so ominous about all of the scenes with the three of them. You know it's not going to go well, and it's just it's like the most depressing stuff
The days are literally getting darker.
And like Frodo's breaking. His relationship with Sam is breaking. Gollum is actively plotting against them in a way where you think he's going to succeed. It is just so distressing to watch these scenes.
Well, and they're slow burns too. It's like you're slowly seeing like the connection between Frodo and Sam unravel. You're slowly seeing Frodo like trust Gollum more. You're seeing more of the mischievousness of Gollum. It's like it's all so painfully slow, and I feel like that makes it really hard.
You just want to like shout from the audience and be like, guys.
Yeah.
No.
Well, and Gollum needs to stop having discussions with himself out loud right next to Frodo and Sam while they're sleeping. It's like, dude, literally just go on a walk and like you'll avoid this problem.
Like
gets
he's
caught by Sam, who immediately is like ready to kill him. He means to murder us. He means to kill us. It's gonna happen.
Us.
Yeah, we're gonna be dead.
Next time you should also just like nudge Frodo awake and be like,
hey, listen, listen. Shh.
He's plotting murder.
It's great. Great visual reveal of Sam too in the scene when Gollum like drops the pebble in the water and the ripples come, and then first we see Sam's reflection, just smacks him in the head with a rock or a pan or whatever.
Yeah, that's so cool.
We go back to Rohan. We'll skip to we'll save all the Plantier stuff for the end there. But Aragorn and Éowyn.
Éowyn is so horny for Aragorn.
She really is.
Also, like when Theoden in the drinking scene like sees her gazing at Aragorn, he's like, "I'm so happy for you." It's like nothing's happened. Like you're encouraging her, and
but this is like back in the day. Like I bet just like an eye glance was like, "Oh, you're probably engaged."
Second base.
Oh, you're like, it's going down. You probably
so like, I feel like that went a long way.
Yeah, she does what any good girlfriend would do, and she makes him listen to her dreams, and he's like,
yeah.
I had this dream.
I saw a great wave climbing over green lands and above the hills, and I was on the edge, and so on and so forth, and you were there, and then there was a priest. And we married.
Your lips were on mine.
Children.
Why is she sleeping in like the Great Hall on like a Shea lounge? What's happening there?
Probably passed out.
Yeah, she got trashed.
She's literally laying there like she's like, draw me like you draw your elves.
She got smashed.
Aragorn's just like
you draw your elves.
Aragorn's just like, cool dream. Go back to sleep.
I love dreams. I love
like shutting her eyes.
And he does kind of just walk away from her.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
That hall is so brightly lit. I definitely don't know. I doubt she was sleeping. She was probably doing that thing where like she was just kind of like up and hoping and anticipating for Aragorn to like come by, and then this was that moment.
Like, oh my god, he's gonna come by, and I'm gonna need to tell him about a dream. Okay, what should I say happened in the dream?
Great waves. That's good.
Waves, like waves of like pleasure, like waves of what?
Like Numenor.
I'm gonna say I was trapped, and he's gonna try to free me.
Yeah.
You got it. You got this, girl.
Yeah.
I was just happy they lit that set. Honestly, I was just really happy the set was lit. Imagine that scene happening in pitch darkness.
You love a lit set. I
love a lit set.
See what's going on. That's like
I want to see everything.
Yeah.
I want to see the photos on the wall in the background. I want to see
everything. It is now a much wider issue. Like a lot of movies now, not just the going back to the Game of Thrones, the battle for Winterfell, and everybody was complaining that it was too dark. It was absolutely too dark. But now there are a lot of movies that are just doing this kind of natural lighting, and I've moved more towards Stacy in this. Like, just light the fucking set. We'll believe it's nighttime.
We all believed Éowyn. We truly did believe she was asleep and had a dream. Like, we all believed it. You know, it was light as day.
Yeah.
I often have the opposite complaint, so I'd love to watch the movies that you're watching, because I feel like TV and everything's overlit these days, because so much stuff is like made for TV or like filmed to be like presented on TV, so they know usually, like, unless they're the Game of Thrones people, to like light everything because people's environments change, and so you have to just side of being able to see things. So
Yeah.
I feel like everything is so dark.
I just ask for good lighting. Like I ask for like carefully crafted expert lighting. So
Detail.
whether
That is
that's
such a big request, Kelly. It either has to be light or dark. Pick one.
well, it's like because you watch these old like film noirs, which are like just black and white, and they're dark, but the lighting is so well done that like the way that the shadows fall, the way that the faces are lit, like it can be dark but still really well lit. And obviously not saying everything needs to be a noir, but I just think as long as the lighting is well done, like it can be a little dimmer, it can be darker, it can be bright. I just want it to like freaking look good, That's all I ask. That's all I ask. But lighting is
It's
hard.
not asking much.
Lighting is so hard.
The one thing that really took me out of the scene was not the lighting, is when Eowyn woke up, she said, "What time is it?" I was like, what a contemporary question.
Yeah.
Because like I was like, is he going to be like 8 o'clock? He was like, not yet done. But I would have thought she would have said something like, "What hour?
What
is
hour?
It? Yeah.
What hour are?
How long has? How much?
Yeah.
What has passed? I don't know.
Where is the sun?
What
in the
what time is it?
sky?
It's
Yeah.
8:37.
Where's my phone? Where's my phone?
I did forget how Aragorn responded, and I was relieved when he responded with "not yet done." I was like, "Yes, bring us back to like old timey,
Yeah,
whatever,
same.
Yeah.
Middle Earth."
She said that, and instantly I was like, what's he gonna say? It's like 11:30. Go back to bed.
What if he was like 1800 hours?
Gandalf. All right. So we have wrapping up with the Palantir shenanigans. So we had the little will there, won't they?
That's doing a really good Pippin and Palantir.
Pippin and the Palantir.
Yeah, this is audio only. Oh man.
Yeah.
This is, by the way, all happening in a youth hostel where there's just sleeping bags and mattresses on the floor. I stayed in a hostel once in Germany, and a friend was snoring like Gimli the entire time. It was one of the worst sleeping arrangements in the entire world.
But you escaped.
Yes.
You escaped.
I did.
And lived to tell us about it.
I didn't do anything naughty.
Great. No hunting of people.
Unlike
fantastic. And we had the he picks it up in the beginning, he sees it, and he's like, "Hey, don't give me that." And then we have the eye locking in the hall, and then he kind of like looks and sees that he's sleeping with both his eyes. His eyes are open.
So good, yeah.
Pippin cannot rest until he sets his sights on this marble again.
Mm-hmm.
It has bewitched him.
Yeah.
It has bewitched him.
It is pulling him in like the Precious, and I think there's some parallels that they're kind of drawing there with the way that Eagle was called to the ring. Just visually too, there's a lot of similarities within those moments. And he picks it up, and almost immediately, Sauron's like,
"Yeah, I got one.
See ya."
I got one." Pippin's like actively jonesing. He's like twitching.
Yeah.
I just need one more look.
He's scratching his arms.
I can quit anytime I want.
Yeah. Mary gets woken up, and then next thing you know, they're breaking down doors. Everybody's waking up. The whole, Treebeard's like poking in a window. Like everybody.
Pippin does our favorite plot device. He does the old switcheroo. He grabs the jug and he switches the Palantir with the jug. Does the old switcheroo.
Yeah.
Even got Gandalf.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Mary should have been like a little bit quicker to be like, "Hey, Gandalf, wake the fuck up. My friend is seizing and there's fire in it."
But Mary is such a ride or die. He's like, Pippin's gonna pip.
Yeah. Rolls around and he grabs another cloak, endless cloaks, throws it over and
well,
and
not
then
before
immediately is like,
Aragorn gets
yes.
up to the feet.
Oh, yeah.
I wanted to see like 8 more people trying to touch it.
Gimli.
Aragorn just goes completely limp and like faints.
Just in a line, passing it down. Yeah.
It was
This
like
scene kind of makes me giggle. I won't lie. I think Pippin's the way he looks and the way like the camera does like that kind of like effect where it kind of like slow-mo kind of like phaser effect too.
Yeah.
That doesn't totally age well to me in this moment. But,
now I'm thinking of like Sauron watching, like he's like, I see it. Wait, who's that now? What was who? Oh my God! Oh, you! Just passing it all the way
We
down.
are writing the Naked Gun version of this scene.
I know. When Pippin was like, shaking, and he was like, I saw Sauron. I saw him. I wanted so bad a quick smash cut to the guy from Rings of Power. And it's like, you saw that guy? That's not intimidating at all.
yeah.
Saw him.
He was a blacksmith.
Yeah. And
I don't know. I'll say Matt. I think Pippin made me a little stressed when he was doing his like back arching on the ground. The way he was writhing made me very nervous.
Yeah.
His facial expressions made me not very nervous.
Yeah. Throws a cloak over, full of a cloak. And then immediately he's like, oh, geez.
Oh, shit.
Oh, he's
like, wait, you're not okay.
Yeah, let me go whisper some sweet nothings into his ear. And fixes him.
He face offed him the way that they do them. He just put his hand on his face and was like,
and then immediately he's like, he brought him back to life, and then immediately is like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
What's going on?
Like,
what did he say? What'd you tell him?
I said,
with us?
fool of a tuck.
Yeah.
Did you hear me say that?
Did you rat on us? Did you rat on us, you dirty rat?
What did you see? I saw a white tree in a courtyard of stone. It was dead. The city was burning. Minas Tirith. Is that what you saw? Like, he's asking him. Like,
I don't know.
I don't know. I'm telling you, I saw a tree and a bunch of white stones.
Goddamn tree.
What else did you see? I saw him. I saw him.
Pippin, Mike.
I could hear his voice in my head. What did you tell him? Speak. He asked my name. I didn't answer. He heard me.
It quickly smashes to, hi, I'm Pippin.
He heard me. Sauron bit me. Yeah.
Sauron bit me.
He bit me. He got my name. He was so mean. He gave me. He twisted my skin on my arm.
What did you tell him about Frodo in the ring? There was no lie in Pippin's eye. A fool, but an honest fool he remains. He told Sauron nothing of Frodo in the ring, or the quest, or the mission quest. And then we will end it there with Sauron moves to strike the city of Minas Tirith.
Great place to end.
Yeah.
If I do say so myself.
Thank you. You suggested it. All right. Any final thoughts on this wrap up? And we'll hit don't forget, we got winners and losers.
Guess who?
1,000% forgot.
Oh my God.
I would never have remembered.
Improv.
Well, I will say I'll start with a loser, and that is Rima. Rima Wormtongue. Because he got.
There's a case being made for him being a winner. He gets a little bit of redemption.
Yeah, there is.
Dies a hero.
There is. That's the complexity of character. So my loser, we'll go around losers first. Matt, who you got?
Sue me. I'm going to take the easy one. Saruman, that piece of shit, is finally dead. Couldn't be happier. Great
Ding
death.
dong.
Love the following him falling off Orthonk. Love to see him get impaled on the
Orthonk.
Conspicuously very spiky mill, whatever that is.
Like, what was that for?
What was that for? Why were those spikes there?
It was for churning, guys.
Churning.
Yeah. Churning. Yeah. Stacy, who's your loser?
I'm gonna say Sam, but I have a feeling Sam's gonna be my answer for the next 8 weeks.
Yeah, for sure.
But this is definitely he lost that first battle, and we know he's never coming back from that. This is it.
Just that smile that Gollum gives him.
Oh, it's brutal. He wants to protect Frodo. He wants to get to the journey home, and he's seeing it slip away.
Yeah. Kelly, who you got?
I'm gonna say my loser for this round is Gimli for losing a drinking game to an elf. I feel like
I'll never hear the end of it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Totally.
And Winners. Who would like to begin with the winners?
I have a
Stacy.
winner. I'm gonna say Pippin was absolutely a winner because not only did he get the Palantir, which he wanted so badly, but he looked into it and he looked Sauron dead in the eye and he said, "Frodo, who?" And I think that was. I don't think that could have gone better, honestly.
Who's this Frodo you speak of?
I don't
Yeah.
know, Frodo.
I don't
I mean,
know
he-
him.
I
like-
don't know, Frodo.
Who?
I don't know him, Mr.
Frody?
Sauron.
Froda?
More like Fro don't know.
I mean, he wanted to look at it and he did, and he didn't cause any big problems. This is an absolute win for
Yeah,
Pippin.
it's a win. Matt, who's your winner?
Winner. Original Smeagol got a great birthday gift.
Original Smeagol. Yeah, it was. It was. He had to take it, but he got it.
He won the murder fight.
Kelly, who you got?
On the murder fight.
I feel like I had one. I'm just gonna stay on theme with my loser. Legolas for winning a drinking game against Gimli.
Yeah. For me, I'm going back to the beginning, and I'm going with Treebeard. Treebeard as the winner.
Oh yeah.
And is now shepherding Isengard and is very happy that new trees will be planted here, young trees,
Aw.
wild trees.
Can you imagine
yeah.
Treebeard like raising a bunch of little
Shut
Treelings?
up.
ants?
Oh
Entlings?
God.
Yeah,
So cute.
That is
Yeah.
really cute.
I felt so good when Treebeard. We didn't talk much about it, but when he started talking again, I was like, oh, here we are. I'm back. Like
We're
that's when I
back.
really fell back into him.
Yeah. And in the Rings of Power, we only got a glimpse of Ents.
They never delivered on that little like sneaky shot of them.
Yeah, it
never
was-
delivered.
It was in there.
Yeah, but we didn't see more.
We
Oh,
didn't
I got
see
you.
more
Yes,
than
we
that.
didn't see
Yeah.
more than that. Yes.
That's
They didn't-
fine.
yeah.
Honestly, I don't need them to do it. I'm
You don't want them to
I've seen
ruin
the
it for
other
you.
stuff. I'm fine. Leave Treebeard alone.
That's fair. Let us
Oh, we don't
have
need to see
Treebeard.
Treebeard. Yeah. Any other
Yeah,
thoughts
or-
before we get
or
out
I
of here?
am.
Good to be back.
Yeah. Yeah.
Great to be back.
Thank you.
back.
I will say that if you made it to the end, thank you for listening. Go to iTunes or Spotify, rate and review the podcast. You can email us at beacons@xroadscomedy.com. Let us know what you think. And we will have a prize winner again, as we do on the final episode of The Return of the King. So roughly a year from now, we will announce a winner that will pull from those reviews, and the 3 people that's reviewed that we read earlier are also included in that. And we might even have Beacons shirts because we have the logo. Which we can easily throw onto a shirt once I'm finished with this site for some of that stuff that I'm working on.
Will there be color choices?
I don't know. Could be. We'll see.
Did our previous
Nice.
winners get their winnings?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, but this
Oh, that's so
isn't a
exciting.
scheme that we're.
No, but like it relied on them
Or scam.
listening and being like, yes, here's my info. I'm glad I
Mhm.
won. And it's like, what if they didn't listen?
Yeah,
You
it's
know?
true.
But
Yep.
they did.
They did.
That's
And thank you all for being here. It is definitely great to be back. And I'm glad we did jump into Return of the King. We'll get around to our recap or reviews and awards for the Two Towers at some point. So we got some time. Thank you, Kelly. Thank you, Stacy. Thank you, Matt. Thank you to the fellowship. Thank you all for listening.
Thanks, Mike.
Bye.
Bye.